Hello, and welcome back to Career Growth Hub. So, with the series of how to handle the interview, how to manage the interview, especially now that in the first 1 month of 2024, we have seen so many layoffs happening in the corporate world. And I have created this guide where I want to help you to be prepared for the next interview that you want to go for. So, today's topic is how to handle surprises during an interview. Now, before we say it is a surprise, let's understand what kind of surprises that can happen during an interview. First, could be that you got a question that you're not prepared for. Another kind of surprises could be, of course, with the environment and with the person itself who is interviewing you. Now, let's look at it one by one. What is the reason behind surprising you or asking you a surprise question? Usually, a question which might surprise a candidate, that question is asked because it's a way to check how composed you are. We tend to be very confident. Most of us, when we go for an interview, there's a preparation already done, and that's how we behave. That's like a performance. Now, how strong that performance is, that is why a question is asked to surprise you. So, what to do when you get a surprise, how to handle yourself, what kind of question should have what kind of response from you is what I'll share in the next segment. Let's move on. So, there are three types of surprise questions that can be asked, rather three categories of surprise questions that can be asked to you. One could be a behavior question, as in um, a scenario given to you where you have to then explain how your behavior was in that given scenario, how you managed a certain situation, or if there was a challenge that you faced, how you tackled it and overcome the challenge. So that's usually a behavior scenario and a question given. Another kind could be a hypothetical question. Now, hypothetical question is something the interviewer may not say, hypothetically speaking, this is what you have to answer. That's not how a question is asked. The best example of a hypothetical question is when you know that this kind of situation would never occur, but you are being asked during an interview. So, in order to manage this kind of question, firstly, stay calm and don't answer saying, this kind of thing will never happen. It does not work like that. When you are being asked a question in an interview, there's a reason behind it. And the reason is to test your skills and abilities. So, if you are being given a hypothetical question, the best way to answer is, hypothetically, if this is how the situation would be, remember this and make a note of it. Hypothetically, if this is how the situation would be, here's how I would act. When you start answering a question like this, you have already established the fact that the question that has been asked to you is hypothetical. However, in the spirit of answering the question, and in case a certain situation of this kind arises, this is how you would handle it. Then the third kind of question is usually a industry specific question. Industry specific question, as in a new trend is going on, or these days, of course, artificial and intelligence. Any question about chat gpt or any other app would can be asked to you. So if you have such a question and you are not prepared to answer it, just go ahead and give it a try in any case. Make sure that the answer that you need to prepare for a certain industry standard question, you bring that answer back to your skills, your capabilities. It takes a bit of practice. And in my earlier video, I've already told you to create a lot of questions that you can be asked during an interview. This would be one of those questions that you might want to create. Another reason why the surprise questions are asked during an interview is mainly to see and understand your mindset as a candidate, as a potential employee of the organization. So, how fast you adapt to a situation is judged by your behavior, by the way you answer the question. Now, what to do? For you, you need to develop a mindset for success. When you're going for an interview, keep in mind you are there. The goal of the interview is for you to get to the next round, to get to the next job, which this round is going to get you to. So, if you have that role and that goal clear in your mind, you will take this particular question as a challenge. And it's not a challenge as an obstacle, it's an opportunity. So embrace the unknown. It's okay if a question is thrown at you. If you have already prepared for the question, if you have already done the preparation that I asked you to, you these questions will not surprise you. So embrace if something unknown is just being thrown on you. And another thing that works during answering a surprise question is active listening. So, when a question is being asked to you, make sure that you are genuinely listening and paying attention to the question and the way the question is being asked. Just in case you are not sure and all of a sudden it's like a big bouncer for you going right above your head, then seek clarification. Firstly, calm down. Absolutely calm. Do not rattle. Make sure to compose yourself, deep breathe. If you have a glass of water, take a few sips. That will give you a few moments to compose yourself. And then ask question. Ask clarifying question. The way to ask the question would be saying, could you elaborate more on it? Could you help me understand what you really need in to me to share in this? Or another way would be, I am experienced in this certain skill, and what you are asking, I would really like to relate to that. Could you share a bit more about it? And last, connect those surprises that are being asked to you, especially if it's a technical question, to your core competencies, your skills, your experience. Now, many a times it happens, and I've been asked this question by many of my students as well, that Monica, I was asked a question that you do not have this particular technology in your resume. So, how can we hire you? Remember, these are all surprise questions, and these are just there to check how you will handle it. The answer to that would be, see, you already know that you don't know that technology. The answer to that would be to make sure that you handle it in a way, yes, I understand I do not have these technologies that you're asking for. However, here's what I am equipped with. And that's where you share your skills and qualifications. Lastly, I'd like to share with you a few preparation strategies that you should work upon before going for an interview. First one is the mock interview. So find a friend or a colleague, or just prepare yourself in front of the mirror. Ask the question and then answer. It's, as I said many times, it's like a performance. The more you practice, better you would be. And if you want help on this, Just go to Google and look for a software that can help you. Secondly, make sure that you are aware of the industry trends, especially in your own industry. If you are from IT, if you are from technical background, artificial intelligence, cloud computing is one of the key thing that you should be aware of and you should have already researched on. Similarly, look for what is the latest trend in your industry and prepare for that. Look around and understand before you go for an interview. This will, if you are aware of all the industry trends, most of them, this will help the interviewer to know that you are aware of the who's who and you know what's really going on. And lastly, stay informed about the company culture. The place where you're going for an interview, the reason why you're going for an interview is because you want to join that organization. The best way to apply for an interview is to go to the website and make sure that you know the who's who of the company, the culture, what they have been working upon, what has been their success so far. And this will also help you to create a few questions that you might want to ask during the interview. In an interview, the ability to handle surprises always separates the candidates from average to stand out. And that is exactly what an interviewer is always looking for. So remember, the surprises will always come. The question is how you handle it and how you come out winning from it. Make sure to practice everything that you can think of as a surprise during an interview. Make sure to practice beforehand. This is Monica Jaswal from Career Growth Hub signing off. And till we meet again, keep growing forward in your career and all the best for your next interview.